On a holiday theme and talk a little bit about the holiday. So I asked myself, and I've never really, be honest with you, I kind of sort of did, but never fully understood this whole Labor Day. Why don't we have a Labor Day holiday and nobody works? I don't get it. But it is a holiday to honor labor by giving laborers the week off, the day off. I think it ought to be a week myself, but the day off. So I thought about, well, who decided we were going to have a Labor Day holiday? Who decided we were going to have a Labor Day holiday? So I decided I'd look it up. I Googled it. You can find anything on Google. You can find stuff you don't want to know on Google. Let me read you a couple little things as kind of introduction. Labor Day is the first Monday in September. Is the creation of the labor movement and is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of the American worker. It constitutes a yearly national tribute to the contributions workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being of our country. Now, it's easy to get disillusioned with our country, especially if you listen to some of the babbling individuals that run on about how horrible America is. Let me tell you something. There is not a line of refugees waiting to get into China. There's not a line of refugees waiting to get into North Korea. I put a thing on Facebook this week by Dr. Ben Carson. He said, I already won the lottery. I was born in America. Amen. America is an amazing nation. If you have not watched the movie by D'Souza called America, Imagine a World Without Her, I would highly recommend you do that. And unfortunately, a lot of our young people have been attacked in high school. You know, when I was a kid, it was the 60-something hippie generation, went to college and got brainwashed by the college professors. But now it's the high school teachers, unfortunately, doing a lot of brainwashing in our kids. And let me tell you something. America is an amazing nation. If you have not watched that movie, see Don and Keith in the back. They'll get you a copy of it. I think they got one. And yeah, they got one. America, Imagine a World Without Her. It's a powerful movie, and it talks about this great land of America. And I really encourage you to do this. Now, Labor Day, where did it come from? Well, let me share this with you. More than 100 years after the first Labor Day observance, today, still, we don't really know who started it. That's what the history books say. Just 100 years ago. We don't know exactly who started Labor Day. Some records show that a man by the name of Peter McGuire, General Secretary of the Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners, and a co-founder of the American Federation of Labor, was first in suggesting a day to honor those who from rude nature have delved and carved out all the grandeur that we behold as a nation. However, Peter McGuire's place in Labor Day history has not gone unchallenged. Many believe that Matthew McGuire, a machinist, same last name, spelled differently, later, the secretary of Local 344 of the International Association of Machinists in New Jersey proposed the holiday in 1882 while serving as secretary of the Central Labor Union in New York. So we really don't know, but what we do know and what is clear is that a labor union appointed a plan and a demonstration and a picnic. So it's funny how some people will say, well, you know, I don't celebrate Christmas because we don't really know when Jesus was born. Give me a break. Okay? We don't even know when Labor Day started, but we celebrate Labor Day. We got so much in our world is so inconsistent. So I just want to challenge you as we celebrate Labor Day to not in other holidays, and don't get so, it's because your daddy was anti this or that, and you taught, and don't do that. Let it go. Just get out of your head. Realize God is God. The Bible is Bible. I mean, the Bible is my book. It's we talk about there's a book called the Big Book, but there's a book called the Big Book. It's called the Bible. And I base my whole entire life on that book. And let me tell you something. The Bible is 100% archaeologically accurate. The Bible is 100% historically accurate. You know, it's funny. There's been millions and millions of dollars spent by atheist secular organizations to go to the Middle East and do archaeological digs to prove the Bible wrong. And every time they make a new discovery, it proves the Bible right. Archaeologically, it's a fact. And historically, every king, every date, it's right down the line. Scientifically, the scientific facts that are in the Bible are 100% accurate, even with modern scientific findings of true science, not speculation, fairy tale, evolution junk, but true science. So I really encourage you to consider looking at and trusting in and relying on the Bible. And now, the Bible starts out in the book of Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 3 and talks about the creation of man. I told him in first service, I said, the Bible says that God made man on the 6th day and rested, and then he made woman, and nobody's rested since. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. But in the creation story, the woman does get a bad rap. Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Because the woman's blamed for making Adam eat the fruit. Oh yeah, the woman's blamed. Oh yeah, it was Eve. In fact, Adam blamed her. Say, it was this woman that you gave me, Lord. She's the one did it. Adam blamed her. But here's the truth of the matter, girls. God never told Eve not to eat of that tree.
Just saying.
God told Adam. And it was Adam's job to tell her. And he told her, but he didn't man up and be the man. He be the wimp. He said, yes, dear, I'll eat the fruit.
We do that today.
Hey, now, that's your problem, okay? Just kidding, okay? That's a choice, all right. Not me, buddy. I don't. Just kidding, okay. I tell you what, I run things in my house. I'm telling you, I run the vacuum cleaner, I run the dishwasher, all right, never mind. Okay, all right. So when Adam and Eve, whose ever fault it was, ate the fruit, the curse came. And the Bible says, and he gave the woman the curse, gave the serpent the curse, and he gave man the curse. Here's where Labor Day started, right here. Genesis 3:17. To the man he said, here's where he said it, Andrew, right here. Listen to this. Genesis 3:17. Because you listened to your woman.
Never since when we've been in trouble, Pastor.
And you ate from the tree whose fruit I commanded you not to eat. See, he didn't command Eve not to eat it. Commanded Adam. Because you did that, the ground is cursed because of you, Adam. Not because of Eve, because of you. All your life, you're going to struggle to scratch a living from it. Can we say amen? I'm telling you, all your life, and somebody's surprised. You got to work. It's been this way from the beginning. You got to struggle to scratch a living from it. Verse 18, it's going to grow thorns and thistles for you instead of the good stuff you're eating now. And you're going to have to eat of the grains that you grow. Verse 19, by the sweat of your brow, you will have the food to eat until you return to the ground from whence you were made. For you were made from dust, and to dust you will return. Now, I don't know about you, but we got a pretty amazing God that can create this out of dirt and water. I made some mud pies in my younger years. It ain't look nothing like this. Dirt and water. Because see, I as a pastor I do a lot of funerals, and I work with death, and I've seen many folks who've been cremated. And you take a 250-pound man or woman and you put them in a crematorium and you extract the water, and what's left could fit in a little box. And I tell you what, I'll guarantee you take that little box and you grind up all those little bone fragments, put them on the parking lot out here. I defy anybody to go find them. It's dust. It's dirt. 85-90% water. 15% dirt. It's amazing what God can do. I'm just saying, we're human beings created by God, and God knew we were going to have to work for a living. So don't be surprised. Now, let me share a couple verses with you out of the Old Testament additionally about work. Deuteronomy 24:14. He says this to Israelites, to where not the leaders, but just to all Israel, to all the people. He says in verse 14 of Deuteronomy 24, never take advantage of poor and destitute laborers, whether they are fellow Israelites or foreigners living in your towns. Verse 15, you must pay them their wages each day before sunset, because they are poor and are counting on it. If you don't pay them their wages, they may cry out to the Lord against you, and He will count it against you as sin. God was concerned about taking care of laborers in the beginning. Making sure the wages were paid. Now, they were living in an agricultural society that day, and they didn't have banks and all that. That wasn't high tech, and so they needed their money every day and to pay them their wages, and God commanded it to do so. I love Proverbs 14 verse 4. Proverbs 14 verse 4 says, without an ox, a stable stays clean. But you need a strong ox to have a large harvest. And you know what ox make, don't you? Ox make ox poo. And somebody's got to clean it up. And if you want a good harvest and you want to have a life, you got to deal with the stuff. And you got to work. You got to clean it up. So, well, I don't like cleaning it up. Then don't have an ox. Because you don't have a harvest. It was an agricultural community. So there's stuff, just like we got to take care of our stuff, change oil, do the maintenance, clean up, wash the dishes. How many love to wash dishes? We got, look at there, that's good. Some of y'all really like that. That's good. Not me. My wife don't like it either. I shouldn't say this. I'll be in trouble. I grew up, somehow or other I grew up under the delusion as a child. You know how we get all these weird things from our culture? I got from my dad, from somewhere along the way, that all women love to wash dishes. That's just what they do. Not. My wife helped me learn that. I thought they all loved to do laundry. I thought they loved picking up dirty clothes off the floor and doing laundry. I thought they loved that until I got married. And my wife helped me with that. She says, I'll wash your clothes, but I ain't picking the nasty things up off the floor. You put them in the hamper, or they stay in the floor. She's supposed to be a Christian. She's a good Christian, that's right. His stuff, we got to be responsible for. I got to hurry. Okay, Proverbs 13:11. Oh my, that clock, I hate it. Proverbs 13:11. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Stay out of the rippy joint. If you want to throw your money away, come put it in the mailbox slot over here at the church. We'll take care of it for you. We'll invest it wisely. Don't buy lottery tickets. Throwing your money away. And even if you win 85%, go bankrupt within the first year or two. Don't. It goes away. Proverbs 14:23. Work brings profit. Mere talk leads to poverty. That's a good one. I could preach a long time on a lot of these. Proverbs 12:24. Work hard, become a leader. Be lazy, become a slave. Amen. Proverbs 28:19. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. Now in the New Testament, it gives us several verses that talk about work as well. And I know this is not a real exciting jump up and shout sermon, but I'm telling you, it'll change your life if you'll stay with me and get it. Because we all gotta work.
Amen.
We all work is part of life. Now you say, well, work. Well, good luck with that. I mean, and there are people who can't work, and I get that, and disability, and I understand that. But even if you're on disability, you can volunteer doing something. Like we got volunteer receptionists come out here 4 days a week, answer our phone. My good volunteer Bonnie barely gets up those stairs, 75, 76 years old, gets up those stairs. She answers that phone every week when she gets settled in that place, giving and working and doing. In the book of Ephesians, the Apostle Paul talks about, he's talking to people who are new to Christianity. They just come out of a bad lifestyle and just weren't, and they're growing. And it's a growing in their relationship and learning and renewing their mind and changing the way they think, and they're learning. And he says to them, and it's a whole list of things here, but in Ephesians 4:28 he says, if you're a thief, stop stealing. Quit stealing. And instead, get a job and start giving generously to others. Thank you for your enthusiasm. I knew I'd get a real big old excitement on that one. Hey, stealing is a habit. It's just, and it's a dysfunctional, screwed up habit that many of us grew up in because that's the way we're taught. Our parents did it. Our grandpa, I mean, it can be a generational thing. I got a word for you. Stop it. Stop it. You say, well, how do I stop it? Here's how you stop it. You get a job. You go to work. You start making more money than you need and start giving it away. See, here's a secret for those of you who are working through your recovery and those who are growing. You never stop a bad habit. You replace it with a good one. Amen. Miriam has been into Weight Watchers the last 6 months, and she's doing awesome. And I'm on it with her more or less, kind of, sort of. And but we found out some really good news. You can eat all the fruits and all the vegetables you want, totally, and there's 0 points. They're free. I mean, you can eat all the cantaloupe you want. Now, you can't eat all the pecan pie. No. But you can eat all the cantaloupe, all the watermelon, all the carrots and celery and broccoli, and I mean, you can eat it all. See, when you focus on what you can't do, hear me, this will be worth you coming today. And when you focus on what you can't do, it's discouraging and it makes us want to do it even more. Because you tell me I can't step over that line right there, and I'm going to, my human nature is going to get right there. So you can eat anything. When you do away with the bad habit or replacing it with a good one. If you're struggling with, say, tobacco or cigarettes, so you're struggling with cigarettes or whatever, I encourage people to get a little pocket-sized New Testament. Little bitty ones. We got them, the Gideon ones, about the size of a pack of cigarettes. And you put it in your pocket wherever you keep your cigarettes. And you put a little bookmarker in there on Philippians 4:13. And every time you reach for your cigarettes, you pull it out. Oh, cigarettes. But you open it up to that bookmarker and you take a couple hits off of Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Man, that's cool. By the way, speaking of work, did you know that in Alaska right now, unemployment is an all-time high? It's summertime. Summertime. We're at record, a 10-year, 15-year record unemployment high right now in the summertime. Now, I don't know if it has anything to do with all the marijuana shops in town or not, but some folk be chilling. A whole lot of people are chilling. I'm just saying. I don't know, but it's absolutely scary. So go to work. Start being able to. There is nothing more wonderful of a feeling than be able to bless somebody in need. Amen. It's incredible. We've got a couple people, but over the years, but one particular, once in a while somebody will come to me and a guy gave me an envelope not too long ago and says, "Pastor, give this to somebody that needs it." And it was stuffed with a whole stack of $100 bills. He said, "Give it to somebody that needs it. If you know somebody in need, you know more people than I do, just bless them." So I'll be walking around with a handful of $100 bills, being able to give them away. You don't know what a blessing that is to be able to give. It's amazing to be able to give and sow and plant. And I'm telling you, I encourage you to do that. Look for opportunities to give. Let me share a couple more real quick. 1 Thessalonians 2 verse 9. "Don't you remember, brothers and sisters, how hard we worked among you? Night and day we toiled to earn a living so that we could not be a burden to you as we preached the good news." The writer, 2/3 of the New Testament, Paul, who wrote 2/3, never took an offering from any of the churches he served. He worked a full-time job making tents. He was a tent maker. And he worked and he served. I forget the percentage, but it's like 50% of all pastors in America today work a secular job. It's called bivocational pastors. So it's a huge number, maybe more than that, but it's a large, significant number of pastors work bivocational jobs so they can preach. Been there, done that. We did it for a number of years. This is one I love in 2 Thessalonians 3:10. He was talking to this Thessalonian church. He said, "Even while we were with you, we gave you this command. No worky, no eaty. Those unwilling to work should not get to eat." Now again, I understand that we got issues and we got disability. I know that, I'm taking that in. But I'm just saying, folks, God designed it for us to work.
The difference between unable and unwilling.
Yes, exactly. There's a difference between being able to work and not able to work, and that's what we who are able to work. That's why I see it's important for those of us who are able to work to make more than we need so we can help others, so we can give and make a difference. And it really, really is. I want to share in closing one last portion of Scripture on rules and laws or guidelines for employees and employers. I'm going to share something with you. If you struggle with work, getting a job, I'm going to tell you how to be the best employee you could ever be, and you will be employable. By the way, we have a gentleman in our church who needs help. He's got a construction business. He needs an employee. If you know somebody willing to work, he needs a good man who can do different kinds of construction stuff. Bill was telling me that he has a friend who needs how many? 5 iron workers for a month. Right now, 30-some bucks an hour. He needs, but just for a month. But he needs 5 iron workers, or guys willing to able to work with iron and work. There's jobs out there. And here's how to be one of the best employees in the world. Now, in their culture, that Paul was writing 2,000 years ago to a culture that had slaves. We don't have slaves today. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to take away from the Bible or change it or add to it, but I just want you to look at, as I read this word slaves, I inserted the word employees. Some of y'all say, yeah, that's what I feel like. Okay, I get it. Okay, all right. And for the word masters, I, in our culture, see the word boss. So let's look at it in that in Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, employees, obey your masters, your bosses, with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. My dad had a rule in his store, his house, and in our world. I grew up with this rule, and we memorized it. It said the boss ain't always right, but the boss is always the boss. You say, well, I don't like that. Well, I didn't like it either, but it didn't change nothing. It won't change nothing with you either. The boss is still the boss. Obey him, respect him, serve them as you would serve Christ. Verse 6, try to please them all the time, not just when they're watching. As servants of Christ, slaves of Christ, do the will of God with all your heart. Look at verse 7. Work with enthusiasm as though you were working for the Lord rather than working for people. See, let me tell you something. If you work for McDonald's, or you work for Serenity House, you work for your contractor, whoever you work for, if your boss, if the business you work for goes out of business, you don't have a job. You know, Will works for Art, and if Art don't make money, and Art's not in the car business for his health. I mean, business has got to make money. McDonald's has got to make money. And if you work for McDonald's, whoever you work for, you be the best employee. You show up ready to work. And if you go to work at 8 o'clock, don't come dragging in there at 8:01. Oh man, but I'm sorry, boss, I had a rough night last night. You know? No. Drag your wagon out of bed and you show up a quarter till. Amen. And you be on ready to work. I mean, your enthusiasm is always overwhelming as usual, but I'm telling you, it'll change your life. You gotta work. Now, so I know some people don't, but I'm just saying, if you can work, be the best. The number one problem in America today is finding good help. Amen. Every boss you just talk to, good employees are hard to find. And if you will show up and you will do and work with enthusiasm. Verse 8, remember, the Lord's going to reward each one of us for the good that we do. Yeah. Whether we're the employee or the boss. Yeah. And he closes it out, this section, with a verse to the bosses. Verse 9. Masters, bosses, treat your employees in the same way. Don't threaten them. Remember, you got the same boss in heaven they do. Right. We all work for the same boss. And he says you treat your employees more than fair. And your employees will take care of you. The philosophy I try to operate on is we take care of our employees will take care of us. And I know money's tough and it's tight, but I'm telling you folks, if you will find your career you love to do and do it. As a pastor, I started out in the ministry working a full-time job so I could preach. When I first started out, there wasn't nobody going to pay me to preach. That was pitiful. I preached for free for 10 years. And I'm telling you, it's just, but when you find what you love to do and you do it with all your heart, now there's parts of all our jobs we don't like, but we do them. We do them. Nobody likes to wash dishes, but nobody likes to eat out of dirty dishes. So we wash dishes. Nobody likes to clean bathrooms, but nobody likes to do the business in a dirty bathroom. So we clean bathrooms. We work. It's part of life on this planet. So I want to challenge you today to think about what you were taught. I want to close, I don't have it in my notes, Mike, but I want to close with a verse that changed my life. As much or more than John 3:16, as much as John 3:16, and it's Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Romans 12, and our young people here today, I plead with you to hear this. And if I know Mike, he'll find it in about 2 shakes of a sheep's tail, and he'll have it on the screen in a moment. Romans 12:2 says very, very clearly, talks about the importance of learning. It says, do not copy the behaviors and customs of your parents, of this world, of your teachers. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's why we go to meetings. That's why we go to church. That's why we go to serve. We fellowship in small group, because we're working constantly. That's why you read your daily bread every day, your devotional every day. That's why you spend time alone with God in prayer and reading every day. We're changing the way we think.
Right.
Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and perfect and pleasing. You want to know what God's will is for you? God's will for you is to renew your mind, change the way you think. Someone blew up not too long ago, screaming and yelling and hollering at me, and just going nuts and whatever, and then said, well, you know, that's just the way we do things in my house. Well, I'm glad you do things in your house that way. This ain't your house. We don't do things that way.
Amen.
Change the way we think, we change the way we live. Would you stand? Father, as we close our time together today, as we are grateful for the workers that built our great nation. We're grateful for the men and women who work even today at service in the restaurants, service at the gas stations, at Fred Meyer's, at all of the laborers that work and so diligently give their time and energy to make it happen. The truck drivers across our great land, the oil field workers that enable us to put gas in our tank and do what we need to do, all because of men and women who commit themselves to working, serving, and I thank you for that. And God, I pray that you'd help each and every one of us today to commit ourselves to learning, to growing, to changing, to becoming the men and women of God you've called us to be. Thank you for forgiving us of our past, redeeming us from a messed up, screwed up past, and giving us a brand new heart and a brand new start. And Lord, I pray today, if there's anyone here today that's really struggling, perhaps they've fallen, they stumbled, maybe they relapsed and gone back to what they said they would. God, I pray you just speak into our hearts today and let us know, Lord, that you love us. In spite of our failures, you love us. You love us. And all you ask is that we come to you and just be honest and say, God, I messed up. God, I need your help. I can't do it on my own. And today afresh, I surrender my life to you, God. Come into my heart and my life and be my master. I believe that Jesus died for my sins. I believe you rose from the dead. Today I give you my life afresh. Thank you for loving me, helping me, forgiving me. In Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Read, learn, and grow. God bless. If you need a Bible, the Welcome Center's got them, or our ushers. Somebody will help you. Have a great afternoon.